So today is our first lecture, and I'll be covering up Git concept because this is important as we will be using Git commands in every project that we do in future. Okay, so I know you guys are aware about Git topics. Okay, but still I'll explain you Git. Then we'll go to GitHub, and then after we cover up GitHub, we'll go to GitHub Actions, and after we complete GitHub Actions, we'll go to Jenkins. Okay. Any questions you have to ask, like till now, like how are we going to complete in span of 3 months or anything, any random question you might have got in your mind till now?
Good morning.
Hello, sir.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, how do we go about learning it without a video or that? Do we do we put something down in writing, or what do we do?
No, I'll be sharing my screen.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah, I
See,
can see it now.
yeah, I'll be
Yeah.
sharing my screen and I'll share this documentation in the group as well. Okay. And today is gonna be mostly theory, not theory, I would say. We will do some practical as well with the Git commands. If you are aware about Git commands, it's well and good. If not, then you can even execute a few steps that I'm going to explain. Okay. So yes, Nani, question.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So I just want to know, is Python part of this training?
Python, I can
Can you
explain.
speak here? Can you guys hear me?
Yes. So I will take one Python project, but that will cover up using Boto 3. Okay. Boto 3 is a library which has Python packages of AWS. Okay. Boto
Okay, the
3.
reason why I'm asking is that I believe that some of us are struggling with Python, especially
That's
when it
totally a
comes.
different thing, but we don't need to know in detail about Python. Okay. We if we know few basics like what are what you call loops in it, then what are integers,
Excuse
then
me. Excuse
yes.
me. Excuse me. I wasn't hearing you at all. I just I don't know what happened on my end. Is it happening to only me?
Really? You're not able to hear me?
Yeah, I was blocked
Everyone,
from my end.
just
I
put it
can
in the
hear you,
chat.
bro. Loud and
We
clear.
can hear you well.
Okay.
Yeah,
So do you
the
have
audio
some
is not too
audio
high.
issues, I guess?
It may be my system actually. So, have you been talking for a while?
No, we just started 2 minutes back.
Okay. All right. I'll use my phone. I guess I'll just switch to my phone. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah. Okay. So Noni had a question that are we covering Python in this? I'll explain one of the project in Python. Before explaining the project, I'll have to explain you the basics of Python. I will not be covering up Python in detail. Okay. But what is required for AWS? That's enough for us. Suppose if we are understanding Lambda function, okay, we will take one from Lambda function as well project, but that Lambda function can be written in multiple languages, Node.js, Python, Java. Okay, we will write one Lambda function in the Python language, and before writing it, we should know the libraries of it. What are conditioners? What are loops in this? Okay,
Okay, all
what
right,
are
thank
set, tuples, then list, everything. So not everything will be covered, but what is required will be covered in Python. Okay.
you.
Yeah. If you guys have any question in between, okay, you can raise your hand. I'll stop at that moment and I'll ask you to raise a question. Okay. So if you guys want to practice side by side, you can do it. I'm not going to go very fast. It's gonna be slow and easy. Okay. slowly, as you guys get used to all these commands and information, what I'm going to explain, then we can speed up a little bit. But in the beginning, I'll be little slow. Okay. Okay. I'll have to make everyone who joins in mute. Okay. Next time. So yes, previous to Git, what was the scenario? Okay, why did Git come into existence? I'll explain you that. Okay, so previous to Git, there was a manager. Exactly, I would say Git must be around 10-15 years back. Industry must be using this, but before Git, the process of developing a code and then giving it to manager was little different. Okay, so there was a manager who was a project manager. He used to assign task. Consider this scenario before 2005. This was a scenario in IT industry, 2005, 2010. Okay, he used to assign task to each developer. Okay, and then developer used to make work on this and send him the code manager back. But what happened was there was only connection between developer and manager. Other users were not aware of what's happening between developer one and the manager. They could not see the code because when you are assigned a single project, okay, there is dependability of that project on others' task as well. If one person is working on particular task, other person till the time if it's dependent on the other one, he is not aware of when should I start, from where should I start. Okay, so that was the scenario. Manager was whole and sole a responsible person to guide full team. Okay, developer used to send a code, manager used to take a review of this and then ask the user to start working on this. User 2 will work and push it to the manager, the code, and then again it goes on, okay, to the third user. This was the scenario before version control system. Git is also called as version control system. Why it's called version control system, we will see as we progress in theory. Okay, so but just remember, Git is also called known as source control management tool as well as version control system. These are the two names given to Git: source code management and version control system. So there are two different types of version control system. One is centralized version control system. Another one is distributed version control system. Okay. So previous to this version control system, we just saw what was the scenario. A manager was responsible for handling all the codes, but he had to maintain that regularity as well, the timing as well, like when was this code sent to me, if there was any update required, did the person update me on time. Okay, and he was responsible for every thing that was executed in the code. Okay, full responsibility was on code, and it was time consuming as well, as he had to wait the developer one to finish the code and then push it to him, then he'll ask user two to start working on it. Okay, this was the manual process before version control came into existence. So when version control came, that was around 2009-10, it was centralized version control system as well as distributed version control system. Okay, in the centralized version control system, the code was pushed to the remote server. Okay, instead of manager, code was pushed to the GitHub account. Remote server, you can consider to be GitHub account or Bitbucket or code commit. In AWS, it's code commit. In Azure, it's called Azure repos. Okay, there are different names, but the purpose remains the same, to store the code. Okay, so GitHub is different. GitHub is a service. Okay, and Git is a tool used to execute that service, used to access that service. Okay, always remember, don't confuse. Git and GitHub are different things. Okay, GitHub is a remote server and it's a service. Okay, In a centralized version control system, the process was little different than we see today. Okay, so here a developer was to work on the code and send it to a remote repository. Okay, and then everything was like between a developer and the GitHub account, but this was online process. Okay, centralized version control system was online process. Means today what we do, if you guys are well aware of, in the Git commands, we clone the repository. What does that mean? The cloning of the repository means we copy the GitHub repository into our local. Local means our laptop. Okay, but in centralized version control system, that was missing. Cloning was missing. What the process was, a developer used to work on the code online. Okay, online he used to work, and whatever update he did, he used to push the code to the GitHub account. Okay, and then what happens if this exact server goes down? What if the GitHub is not accessible for some time? Okay, everyone has to wait. Okay, nobody knows like till where the work has been done. Okay, so this was online process. Everything was dependent online. Like you work on online, push it, don't clone it in your local, just work directly on the GitHub account. That was the process in centralized version control system. Okay, there were some what you call lags, or maybe what you call negative points, I would say, that everything was dependent online, and sometimes there is net connectivity issue, you see, right? So if there is net connectivity issue, one cannot work. Okay, I'll put him on mute. Okay, just raise your hand if you have any questions. Okay, so then came the distributed version control system, that's commonly known as Git. Okay, are you understanding the process, how it evolved? Previously it was manager who was responsible, then developer used to not send the code to the manager, but it was the GitHub account that was online, work on online and push it to the GitHub, work online and push it to the GitHub. That was entirely online process. Then came the distributed version control system. Here the repository was to be cloned in your local. Okay, local means in your laptop. Whatever you do from GitHub account, you clone the repository into your laptop and then work on it. Then do all the steps like git add, git commit, and then git push. These are the commands. I'll explain you while doing practical of this, but just remember git pull, git push, git add, git commit. These are the commands that are commonly used. Okay, in Git. Okay, this is the GitHub repository. This is remote repository. Consider it to be the, wait. Oh, I'm not able to type. Okay, consider it to be the remote repository. Remote means that is at some other place. Okay, so GitHub, there a developer has stored a code. Then the other user will come. He will pull or clone the repository into his local system. Okay, he will clone the repository in his local system, then update the code. Then after updating, push the code to the GitHub. Here the process was a little what you call there were extra steps involved, but the benefit was who made changes in the code, what time it was updated. Even if there is connectivity issue, you could still update the code. You could still add and commit the code, even though you couldn't push it if the connectivity was the issue, but you could update it, you could add and commit it as well in your local. Okay, and then once you're online, once you see everything is done, then you push the code to the GitHub. How do we push it? I'll explain you that as well today. Okay, but remember how it has been evolved. Previously it was the manager who was taking control of all the storing of the codes or updating everything. Then came the centralized version control system, and then came the Git version control system. Okay, clone the repository or pull the repository from remote into your local, work on it, and then update it, commit it, and push it. Okay. See, repository, what is it? A place where files are stored. Okay, the things that you see over here, repository is nothing but a place where files are stored. So these are the commands: git init, git add, git commit, git status, git remote, git push. Okay, git pull. What each command does, we will see that in practical. Okay, but do remember, like git init command is like it will start a new repo. New repo means it will initialize the directory. Init means initialize. Wherever the code is stored on the code that you are working on, it will initialize that particular folder. Yes, the code has been initialized. Now you can add, update, or commit from this particular folder only. Okay. Then how does this work? Okay. So consider this to be your local repo. Okay. Local repo where you work on the code, this working directory, where you make where you make changes or update whatever in the working directory. Okay, after working on it, before sending it to the GitHub directly, there are two steps that you have to follow. Okay, git add. Okay, git add means whatever changes you have done in this code, okay, working directory, it will be added to the staging area. Okay, why? Before pushing it to the GitHub, if you feel like, yes, I left out something, there needs to be changed something, so that you can bring back from staging area to the working directory. Okay, if this stage was not there, if this area was not there, then directly from working directory you could push to the GitHub. Okay, but every time you had to what you call if anything goes wrong, then directly every time you have to clone it to the GitHub, clone it from GitHub. So it's better, before directly pushing it to the GitHub, execute this step git add. The code will go over here in the staging area. Okay. Then after everything looks fine, you have check the code. It looks good. Then do git commit. Git commit means the code is come in the local repository, in your local storage. Okay. Local storage means in your hard drive. From there, you push the code to the GitHub. This is your local drive. This is your cloud. Cloud drive means remote storage of the code. Code will reside here as well as over here. Okay, but you need, once you push to the GitHub account, then other people will be able to access the code that you have worked on. Okay, how does this work? You are working on the code. Okay, your files or your any code, any deployment file you have written, it's in this working directory. Then you initialize it saying that git init. Okay, there must be .git file inside the working directory. Whenever you execute git init, .git file or file is created in this working directory. After you initialize, you work on this, then do git add. Git add means this step, git add. It will go to the staging area. Git add goes to the staging area. From staging area, you do git commit. It goes to the local repository, means your local hard drive. Then you push, it goes to the GitHub account. Okay. So usually, how does the flow work from working directory to staging area, from staging to local, from local to GitHub? Okay. And then whenever you are working on the CI/CD pipeline, okay, anything that you push to the GitHub, automatically it is executed in the pipeline. Okay, commit, build, test, stage, deploy. Okay, this automation process, any push to the code, it triggers the next following steps. that this process that you see on the screen, Jenkins, we'll understand it better when we start working on the projects. But just remember, whenever we push anything on the GitHub using Git commands, this Jenkins or GitHub Actions or any CI/CD tool will come into action because there is something called workflow written in these tools, which triggers anything pushed to the main branch or feature branch. Okay, it triggers the pipeline. Triggers the pipeline means at each step what needs to be executed. Pipeline is nothing but a series of steps, one after the other, what things you are going to do. Pipeline is nothing like a tap water pipeline. It's not like that. Pipeline means it's a series of steps, one after the other, what steps needs to be executed. Okay. Okay, that's a good question. When is the pull request required? Okay, so whenever this thing is, whenever you push the code, wait, you push it to the, there is something called branch. Okay, now as I said, like suppose if I'm working on one project, okay, and you guys are my team members, okay, and you guys report to me, I have the access to the main branch. Main branch is a branch from where it will go to production. Okay, everything needs to be fit and fine in the main branch. Okay, so if I give you access to the main branch, what if you directly push it from local repository? What if you push directly to the GitHub? You haven't tested the code, whatever changes you made, we haven't tested it. You just updated it and pushed to the GitHub repository. It's my risk to accept the changes that you did in the main branch and put it to the production. Okay, before putting it, I will not allow you to work directly on the main branch. Okay, there is something called feature branch or a dev branch or a stage branch. Okay, branches can be multiple things, but individual usually work on the feature branch first. Okay, how the branches are created, I'll explain you all that. Okay, when we are actually doing practical, after this topic gets over, we'll see branches as well, how it's created, how pull request is raised. Okay, so I will not allow you to work directly on the main branch because that's a production branch. Okay, main branch. So what I will tell, um, guys, just take this code, clone it in your local repository. Okay, create a feature branch, work on it, update it, and commit it. Okay, commit means push it to the GitHub repository. So the the code that you see, wait. Mm, Suppose this is the code. Okay, so here you see the main branch. Okay, this is the feature branch. Main branch is directly to the production account. So I will not allow you to create, update anything on the main branch. I will say, guys, just work on the feature branch and push it to the GitHub. So when you go to the feature branch, you'll see the similar code. Okay, similar code as what it was in the feature branch. Okay, then if everything looks perfectly fine, okay, if you see that yes, I have made changes, professor has reviewed the code, now let me raise a pull request. Okay, so how do we raise a pull request? Okay, just go to this pull request. Okay, then new pull request. See, pull request is from feature branch that you worked on to the main branch. What does this say? Cannot automatically merge. Okay, what does that mean? If you raise this pull request, okay, your code that you have worked in, it cannot get merged automatically. It will require my review. I'll check if these guys have really worked correctly. If everything looks satisfied, I will approve it. Yes, these people can go and merge the branch now. Okay, if you want to see how it works, see, this was open, like I did it a long time back. Okay, so I'll check the code, files changed. Okay, see, this thing, there are changes. What I'll do, I'll approve this. If everything looks good, I'll go and approve this. Okay. Once it's approved, then we'll be able to merge this. After approving, where is it? Yeah, this thing will get highlighted. Merge pull request. Understood what does that mean? Means you cannot directly work on the main branch. Okay, you have to work on the feature branch. Feature branch is nothing but a clone copy of the main branch. Okay, and then once you work and push it to the GitHub account, okay, raise a pull request. Pull request means inform the manager, yes, I have raised a pull request. Just review the code, what I have done. If everything looks fine, merge it with the main branch. Means whatever changes you have done, that could be seen in the main branch. Then that main branch will go to the production. Okay. How do you determine everything looks good? See, I have that experience. I'll see if whatever steps you have mentioned. Okay. So suppose if it's a Terraform code, okay, and I want to do some vulnerability scanning. So I will have Chekhov installed at some steps. Okay. Or if there is a Docker Hub image needs to be created, I'll have Trivy installed at some steps. So if all the scannings is being passed, okay, and then what I will do, I'll just review everything looks good. I'll push it to the main branch, and then main branch will go to the production. If something fails, something breaks, we will understand. Okay. But before going to the production, there are some different environments. You must have heard things directly are not pushed to the main production. There is development account, there is stage account, there is testing account, there is UAT account, there is something called sandbox account. Every company uses different environments. Okay. So yes, Nani, go
Please,
on.
can you reiterate how you initiate the pull request once more? Thank you.
Yes. See, this is a normal code. Okay. Just go to the pull request. Okay. So even if right now you see over here, right? Suppose let's close this pull request. Let's close this. Okay. Now you don't see any pull request. All 6 are closed. Okay. So there is no pull request right now. So I want to create a pull request. I have updated code on the feature branch. I want it to get merged with the main branch. New pull request. You'll see option over here. New pull request. Then you'll have to choose from this arrow. You have worked on the feature branch. You want to get it merged with the main branch. This is the base main. Okay. Compare is feature branch. Then arrows points out like from here to here you want to merge it. Once you what you call uh, make the changes, then create pull request. Okay. Create pull request. See, create pull request. Now pull request has been created. What I will do, I'll copy this code, give it to the manager, and once he opens this code, he will be able to see this pull request has been changed. What he will do exactly? He will do nothing. He'll just go to this files change. He will see what these people see. What is written over here? Wasim Hannure wants to merge one commit into main from feature branch, right? In your environment, whenever you are working in the companies, your name will be given, wants to merge one commit into main. So I'll go to this files change. What work has it done exactly? So whatever these plus signs that you do, that you see, that is added. Whatever you have removed, it will be seen as minus. Okay. So this will be done. If I'll go line by line, I'll review it. Okay. I'll review it. If everything looks good, I'll mention it as viewed. Can you see this? Marking files as viewed can help keep track of your progress, but it will not affect your submitted review. I'll be marked as view. Yes, I have noticed this. I have checked this as well. I have checked this as well. All 3 files has been checked. So now what I will do, so this main branch merging approval is given to the manager. Right now I'm not the manager. So whoever is assigned to that will see that highlight part. I'll approve it. Once it's approved, you'll go to the feature branch, and then after approving, you'll see this highlighted merge pull request. Right now, no reviewers. Can you see this? I'll add my own reviewer. Okay. Wait, I'll add my own name. You cannot add yourself. That's the problem. Assign it to yourself. That's fine. You cannot add yourself. That's the problem. It's always the team member who reviews your code or your manager. Okay. Now I have worked on the code. I cannot add myself. I cannot just go and approve my own code. Okay. That's the problem. So you'll see the merge pull request. Everything looks good. Then after approving, where will it get approved? Over here. Where is it? Yeah. Files changed. Review changes. Pull request, authors can't approve their own pull request. I raised a pull request, so I cannot approve it directly. Okay. So approve. After approving, submit review. Then, or if you find there is something wrong, okay, you can do that as well. Okay. You can, without even approving, request changes you can do. Pull request, authors can't request. So right now it's not showing anything. Okay, for me, if we would have worked, we will see when we are working on the projects, I'll ask someone to review the code. Okay. So request changes. If you want the person to just go and look into the code once again, just type something, check the changes again. Okay. Request changes, submit review. So the pull request is still pending. If everything looks good, if you approve the code and you merge the code now, okay, then whatever changes you did in the feature branch over here, that you'll be able to see in the main branch. Pull request just mean, hey, I have worked on this code located on this feature branch. Can you please check it out before we merge it to the main branch? Exactly. That's the correct explanation, I would say. Okay. Always feature branch companies ask you to work on the feature branch before merging it directly. It's your manager who will approve to merge it with the dev branch or the main branch. Okay. Just a second. Yes. So understood about the pull request, where it's used. So is the Git only version control system? If we have heard only about Git, right? We have not heard about anything, but there is something called Mercurial as well. Like this does all the similar tools like Git, but Git is more popular and easily uh, free source, I would say. Just a second. Just a second. I'm getting a call. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Sorry to hold. Okay. There is Mercurial. There is Git. There is no track. There is AWS code commit. There is Bitbucket. These are nothing but like GitHub, AWS code commit, and Bitbucket. These are like GitHub. Okay. But why Git? Okay. Git tracks the changes you make files, enabling multiple developers to work together. So you have a record of what has been done, and you can revert to specific version should you ever need to. Okay, what does this mean? Whenever you push something to the GitHub account, okay, GitHub repository, small this thing is created. See this? Can you see this version number? Okay, every time you do any commit you make, every number will be different. Can you see this? View commit details, view commit details. Every number will be different. Okay. So now you have pushed the code to the this latest what you call commit and update has been done, and you find this is creating a problem. Previous one was working much better. Okay. So what do? You can revert it to this. Understood? You can revert it to the previous version. That's the benefit of using Git. Any doubts still here? You can ask me question in between, okay? If I'm going too fast, ask me to take ask me to slow down. If I'm too slow, ask me to pick up the pace. Okay. So this was just one of the example just I showed you. This we will understand about the pull request, about merging with the main branch, about the feature branch in detail. Like you'll be able to do it in a much better way when we are working on the projects. But today I want to explain you the basic part, like work on the code, how to push it to the GitHub. Okay. Suppose I want to, let me just create one repository. Okay, what is a repository? Repository is nothing but a folder that is created on the GitHub account. So how do we create it? Go to the repository, go to the new, okay. Okay, this is the owner and repository name, training I will give. Okay, just a second. Okay, I don't know why I'm getting so many calls. Just hold on. Guys, just 2 minutes. Okay, just 2 minutes. Sorry. Sorry, guys. Yeah, there was my mom on call. Okay. So yes. So how do we create a repo? Yes, someone had a question. Noni.
Yes, Prof. So I was meaning to ask, so when you commit a code and you find out that there's something wrong and you want to revert to the
Yes.
previous
Yes.
commit, is there any other way of reverting, or you just go back to the previous commit that you made?
You can like wait, where is the repository? You can revert. There is one command called git revert and to that specific version that you want to go to.
Okay.
Okay, and then directly you whatever changes you made to the latest version, that will be reverted back to the older version that you are using.
Can you share the command, is this not
Yeah,
right?
I'll share you the command. Means we'll go
But
slowly. I'll show you
yeah,
like
because
exactly.
I didn't know there is a command to revert, to the previous.
Uh, okay, means if I tell directly, or is it better to what do you call show in the practical?
Okay, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, I just want to, get this now. All
Mhm.
right. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. So now it's very easy, simple command, I would say. I'll still type it over here and get a revert, and that you have to say like whatever version that you wanted, that you want to go to. You have to type version number. Okay, I'll put in the chat. Git revert to that version. It directly
Oh,
goes back to there. Yeah.
thank you, Prof.
Hmm. So yes, if you get any doubts in between, you can ask me directly. Okay, you can just raise your hand. You can ask others. Like I would like to ask, I would like to answer your doubts because that's where things will be like I'll think that yeah, you guys are really understanding it and yeah, you're getting some doubts. Okay, so how do we create a repository? Means a repository is nothing but a folder where you store your codes. Okay, as I have mentioned over here. Okay, a repository is nothing but a place where files are stored. So we are creating a repository. I'm just giving a sample name. This training is available. This means that I don't have any other folder with this name. Okay. If it was available, if there was something, it would have showed like you cannot take this name, take some different name. Okay. So I have given this repository name and I don't want anything. I'll do this everything manually. Okay, if you take this add readme file, it will create a file by default inside this repository. I don't want this is where you can write a long description for your project. Okay, so this dot git ignore, we will see why this is used when we push the code. Okay, because there are some files in our uh, what you call in our folder that we don't want it to be get pushed to the repository. Okay, which are you find something sensitive which has some data. So if you want those files to be ignored while pushing it, you have to type it in the .git ignore. We will see. Okay, create repository. So now repository has been created. This is the repository name. What is the first thing first you need to do? Okay, git init. Okay, then git add readme. First thing first, what you have to do is you'll have to clone this repository in your local. Okay, how do we do that? What does it say? Quick setup. If you have done this kind of thing before, set up in a desktop or like this. Just copy this. Okay, I'll create a folder in my local. Okay, cloning means what? We are cloning exact replica of what is there on the GitHub. Okay, to the local repository of ours. Okay, I'm creating a new folder. Let me go to the folder. This is a desktop. I'll give a training name to it. Okay. I want to clone this over here. Okay. So where do I execute the commands? Which terminal shall I use? Are you familiar with the Git Bash or Visual Studio Code? Okay. Let's use Visual Studio Code. Okay. Why is it looking like this? Oh, is it deleted in my case? Why I don't see this? Just a second. Okay, let me check whether it got deleted from my system. How is it possible? Downloads. Really? Hmm. The item codec says that this shortcut refers to has been changed or moved, so this shortcut will no longer work. Do you want to delete this shortcut? Yes. Okay. Let's use git bash. I'll have to install VS Code. Okay. For right now, let's use git bash. cd. I'm which folder right now? How do we check that? Which folder I'm in? pwd, present working directory. Okay. I'm in this folder. Okay. But my training folder is somewhere here. Where is it? I created a training folder, right? Yeah, here. What do? I'll copy the path and just do cd and paste it over here. Can you see this? Now I'm in this folder, training folder, desktop. Previously I was in different. Previously I was in this folder, C users. Okay, pwd. Now I'm in this folder, OneDrive desktop training. Okay. How do we do that? cd, change directory. These are the Linux commands. I hope you are familiar with the Linux commands. Okay, everyone. If not, then just raise your hands who are not familiar with the Linux commands. Okay. If you are well aware about it, well and good. If not, I will explain while executing the steps. I'll explain that what does that command means. Okay. So I want to clone this repository that I just created. Okay. I want to clone this repository. Right now there is nothing in this, but I'll create one file in this repository because even this repository is empty. If you see these trainings, there is nothing in this. Okay. This is empty. So let me create a sample file in this training folder. How do we create a file in Linux? Okay, if you do ls means show list. This folder is empty, this training folder. Okay, now I want to create a sample file, any sample file, and I want to push it to the, yes, touch is one of the command. Touch creates empty file, touch file one. Okay, touch creates empty file. There is nothing in that file. Okay, can you see this file one? Okay, this creates empty file. But what if you want to write in this file? Okay, vi file one. Okay, vi is a editor. It is used. Okay, vi nano cat, touch. These are the commands used to create files. Okay, but vi is a popular code, popular visual editor. So vi file1, I'm updating this file1. Okay, what do I update in this? How do I update it? First you have to press I, insert. It has to be insert. You're executing the commands. Okay, hello everyone. Okay, escape colon WQ. Escape means I'm quitting from this. I have made changes over here. Now I want to quit from this file and go to the main directory. So WQ means write. Okay, just make changes, write and quit. Okay, WQ. If I don't want to save this, whatever I have written, and I want to quit it directly, just type Q. Okay, quit. But I want to save this what I have written. So WQ. Okay. So now if you want to see what is written in this file1, just do cat file1. Can you see this on the screen? Hello, everyone was written in this inside this file. Now I want to push this to the GitHub, this sample file1. Okay. So what do I do? First thing first, as I told you, I'll have to initialize this git init because this folder is not been initialized. So I'll initialize this. Just copy this command, execute it over here, paste git init. So what will happen? What does this say? Initialized empty git repository means .git folder, the .git file has been added. And there is something, one more change that is taken place is master branch by default has been created. Let me just clear it. ls. You can see just file1, but you don't see hidden file. How do you see that hidden file? ls -lah. Can you see this? This is a hidden file. That means .git is a hidden file. Okay. So this directory has been initialized with git. Next command, what we have to execute? Git add. Okay. If you have readme file, you can use git add readme, but I don't have git readme add, git readme. What do I have? File1. I want to push it. I want to add this first step of git. Remember what we learned over here? Git add. Okay. Git add a dot. What does this dot means? All the files from this current directory. Okay. Git add dot. Or if you want to, okay, git add dot. I'll explain what the git status means as later. Git add dot. Yes. After git add, what is the next step? Git commit. Okay. Git commit. What does this say? One file changed in one insertion create mode. This is in mode number it has got. Okay, first commit. Now you want to change it to the master through main branch. How do we change it? Just use this command git branch hyphen capital M to main. Okay, it does not make difference. Some of the companies use master branch, some of them use main branch. If you want to change it to some different name, that is also possible. But you can change it like this: git branch hyphen M main. Enter. Instead of master, you'll be able to see main. Everything clear? And you want to see right now how many branches are there currently. Just type command git branch. Right now you'll see you are on the main branch. This asterisk sign, okay, is highlighting that you are on the main branch and there is only one branch currently. Okay. And now you have to, now this code is in your local, this file, okay, is in your local, and you want to push it to the GitHub account. But which GitHub account? Which repository? Have you given anything? No, right? Where exactly? So you'll have to add like this: git remote add origin. This is the command to tell that push add this link and send. We are going to send the code to this particular URL. Okay. Git remote add. Remote means I told you at a distance place. We are adding a URL. Okay. Git remote add origin this URL. Okay. This is the my GitHub profile name. This one is the folder name which we have created in the my under my profile repository and .git. Okay. Git remote add origin. What will this command do? Okay. Whatever files that you want to push, okay, it will be pushing it to this particular URL. Okay. Git remote add origin. Then git push -u origin main. First, you are going to push. Let me just show you once again. What did we do? Git add, git commit. Okay. And then this step you'll have to execute only once, not every time. You don't have to execute this git remote add origin. This step you don't have to execute after every git commit, git push. If you do it once, it's fine. Because what this is doing is git remote add, it's setting a link between your laptop and that your GitHub account. That link has been created now. So now when the link has been created, you want to push to the main branch, whatever you have committed. Okay, first you added, then you committed, and then now you're pushing it. How do we check that? Just type and git status. Okay, what do you see on main branch? There is nothing to commit right now because you already committed. You just need to push. Git push. Okay, sorry. Git push -u. -u means user. Okay, origin main. Yes. Now what happened is you'll see these files have been pushed, size, everything. Okay. New branch, main branch, from main branch to main. Branch main setup to track origin main. Just go over here. Okay. And then do refresh. You'll see the file one. Can you see this? That has been pushed. First commit was the update. Okay. 4 minutes ago, we committed it. Just go in this file. This was the name, file name. Okay. And now, okay, I want to make changes in this. Just a second. Oh. Now I want to make changes in this. What is the file name? File one. Okay, vi file one. Yes. Happy learning. Okay, I'll save this WQ. Okay, now I have made some changes. How do I know that I have made changes? Just execute git status. Okay, it will show you something. What does this say? Your file has been modified. Okay, git status command, it says that this file one has been modified. As you very well know, yeah, you updated something and that it has been modified. Changes are not staged for commit. Changes, whatever you did, because you did not execute this command, git add. Just a second, again, I'm getting a call. Yeah, so now this file has been modified. What does this statement says? Changes are not staged for commit. You have made changes, but you have not added, you have worked on this directory, but you are not added to the staging area. You have not committed it as well. So to add it to the staging area, what you have to do is git add dot, whatever changes you have made, just add it, git commit hyphen m. Hyphen m means a message. Okay. Uh, Second commit. I'll just give you a second commit. Git commit hyphen m. This is the second commit. Now, last time that you remember, I added this remote add URL after committing. I added this. Now I don't need to because that link has already been created. Now only thing that I need to do is git push. Yeah, this has been updated now. Okay. If you go over here, okay, just refresh, you'll see two commits. Second commit, can you see this? Now, so just go to this file. Hello everyone, happy learning. But how do we see all the commits that has been made? Just go over here, two commits. Okay, can you see this? First commit was 8 minutes ago. This was the number for it. Second commit was just now, committed now. This is the number of it, right? So as Noni pointed out, like what is a command? Git revert. Okay, just copy this. Could not revert. First commit. File deleted in empty tree and modified in head. So what I'll have to do is I'll have to pull it first and then do it. Okay. What does this say? Conflict. File 1 deleted in empty tree and modified in head. Version head of file 1 left in tree. Could not revert. Okay. So why this error is here? We'll see. Git status. Okay. Can you see what does this mean? Can anyone tell me? Deleted by them file 1. If you go to the file 1, okay, cat file 1, okay, you have made changes in this, but now the file has been deleted in the what do you call unmerged path. Okay, so why this error arised, we'll see here. You're currently reverting commits. What does this mean? Git revert, fix conflicts and run. Git revert, continue. Okay, unmerged files. Why it's showing me unmerged files? Unmerged path. Okay, really? Git. Okay, okay, okay. Git status. Correct. I'll have to restore this first. Correct. Now your branch is up to date. You're currently reverting commit on conflicts fixed. Revert to continue. Then ls cat file 1. Why did not revert to cancel? All conflicts, is something missing. There is something missing. Git add dot git commit -m new. Why it's saying reverting? Directly it happens. I have made some mistake. Fix conflicts and run git revert. Git revert skip. Let's do it right now. Let's abort it. I think I have made some mistake with the command. Okay. I stopped it reverting, but exactly you'll have to do these things first. Revert and then fatal existing because of an unresolved conflict. I don't know what was that conflict. Okay. Let's do it later. But right now, this files has been pushed to the with the second commit. Okay. Now this file is in a main branch. Okay. As Treza pointed out, how to push it to the how to raise a pull request. Okay. How do we do that? First thing first, we'll have to create a feature branch. Just check which branch are we in. We are in the main branch. We'll have to create a feature branch. Okay. Feature branch is nothing but a mm, any normal branch created from this particular main branch or whichever branch you are in at currently, and you try to create a new branch, you will copy all the content of that particular branch into the feature branch. Okay. Suppose you have 5 files on the main branch and you create any branch. How do you create a branch? Git branch feature hyphen br. I'll keep it like this. Okay. This branch, git branch feature. Just type git branch. You'll see 2 branches right now. Okay. One is feature br. Can you see this? Feature br and main branch. Okay. This is the command to create a feature branch or any branch. Git branch and then name of that branch. Okay. Wait a second. Laptop bad charging. Okay. So this command is git branch feature branch or any branch that you want to create. So now let me go to the feature branch. I am on the main branch. Still, I am on the main branch. Can you see this? Star means main branch. It's pointing out to the main. So how do I do that? Git checkout is the command. Feature hyphen br. Can you see this now? This main branch, previously it was showing, we have switched to the feature branch so that it shows now feature branch. And as we have copied, we have created this branch from the main branch. What did the main branch contain? It contained only one file, that was file name. So when we created a feature branch, this new branch will also have the same file. Just do ls. Understood? Now, instead of directly working on this main branch, I'll start working on this feature branch because I want to put this main branch on the production. Okay. I'll work on this feature branch and I'll push it. How do I work on it? Suppose I want to make some changes. Vi file 1. Mm, mm, what do you call data from feature branch. Save it, write and quit ls. Okay, so I'll do git status. What does that mean? This file has been modified. Okay, how do I do that? Git add, I'll push it, git commit -m modified from feature. Okay, remember, just pay attention. Previously we were working on the main branch, now we are working on the feature branch. Okay, I added these changes that I did in this, and now I'm committing it. Okay, what do you see? One file changed. Now after commit, I'll push git push -u origin. Just one time you'll have to execute this step. br. Okay, what does this say? Like previously there was no feature branch. Previously there was no feature branch. Now you want to see the feature branch. Okay, you'll be able to see the feature branch. Previously there was only one branch, main. Understood? Let's go to the feature branch. Okay, feature branch had sent had recent push 17 seconds ago. Modified from feature, but you will not be able to see exact sentence in the main branch. Why? Because you have worked on this feature branch. You have not worked on the main branch. Okay, you have made only if you go to the commits. Okay, you'll be able to see first commit, second commit, third commit. Okay, and if you go over here, you'll be able to see everything. Modified data from feature branch. This is the feature branch. Okay, just pay attention. And then what if you want to pull it to the main branch, whatever you have added? How do we do that? Because that's the real life scenario, how it works. You are given a particular branch, you create a feature branch on your own, you work on this like this, you push it, you have a feature branch, and then you raise a pull request. How do you raise a pull request? Either go in this or directly you can select this. Yes, pull request, exactly. Compare and pull request. Every company, okay, that you work on, this process is gonna be followed. Okay, and add any data, title, anything which you want your manager to first read. I have updated file 1 from feature and want to merge in main. Okay, this is a message I'm giving. Add in any description. Okay, create pull request. Okay, so I want to, I that's the problem. Okay, I cannot assign my own, like I cannot be the only reviewer. So this will keep. So what I'll do, create pull request. So now this pull request has been created. If you see here, this is open, modified from feature. So whenever now you have created a pull request, what you will do, you'll copy this link, give it to your manager, and you will inform him that I have created a pull request. So whenever he comes, he'll see what message you are giving. I have updated file 1 from feature and want to merge in main. Yes, that's fine. He will first go and check to this, what changes have you made? Yes, you have added something from feature branch. Okay, then whatever, as soon as he sees the changes, he will see this review changes and approve from here. Okay, and then submit review. Okay, the problem is, like, I don't have access to my own approval thing. There should be some second person as well to approve. You cannot approve your own pull request. Okay, and Wasim Hanure wants to merge one commit into main from feature. Once that's done, okay, and then see, it's showing here merge pull request. Oh, that's good. merge pull request, confirm merge. Perfect. So what happens whenever you make changes to the feature, whenever you merge the pull request? Now what happened? Can anyone tell me? What did I do just now? Any guesswork? Anything will work.
Can I try to explain?
Pardon?
Can I try to explain?
Yes, yes, yes.
So pretty much, it looks like first you created a feature request in a real life, a feature branch,
Mhm.
which means in real life you are working on the codes, and then sent it to your manager or whomsoever is above you to check on the code, and
Mhm.
it was approved. And since it's approved, then it's a pull request was first done,
Mhm.
like I said earlier, to tell them, hey, I worked on this code. Please check it out before we can merge it. So they checked it, and then it was approved, and then the feature was merged with the main branch.
Yes, it was merged. After merging, what will happen next? What will happen to the main branch?
Then from there, I think we can deploy it to whatever environment needs to be.
Yes, main branch is updated now. Previously, you saw the message. See now, main branch, file one. What does this say? Modified from feature. Merge pull request from this and this. Now this main branch has been merged with the feature branch. And now you'll be able to see in this file one data from feature branch. Got it? Understood exactly what we did?
Prof, I have a question.
Yes.
In a real life environment,
Mhm.
when let's say developer pushes the code, raise a pull request, and this pull request is being reviewed and approved, is it
Mhm.
automatically pushed to the main? If, for
No, you
example, they
have
have other
to,
environments like dev stage, and is it pushed to the main or is pushed to the dev, for example, if they
depending
have?
on which branch. So right now we had only one branch, right? So if we create one more branch, okay, git branch dev, okay. So we have three branches now. So if we want, before directly going to the main, if we want to merge from feature to dev, okay, and from dev to main, that's possible.
Okay,
Cool.
I see. All right, thank you.
Yes. Every company follows process. Like my company, what they do, they create a feature branch from dev. Okay. Then after working on this feature branch, we will merge it with the dev. Okay. Everything looks good. Then what is the next environment higher to dev before going into the main? There is a stage environment.
Which, yeah.
Yeah. For the stage environment, there is some different person reviewing it. Okay. So after stage, it looks perfectly fine. Okay. Now these people decide a particular date. Yeah, Wasim has done some good work in the stage environment and everything looks good. We can put it into production. Before merging it directly into the production main branch, they have a particular date in their company, usually in the last week of the month. Okay, I guess it's Tuesday, I guess, last Tuesday of the month. So that particular day, I'll have to raise a pull request first, and they will approve and merge it with the main branch on the last Tuesday. And as soon as it's done, it's automatically deployed because anything that is merged with the main branch, a CI/CD pipeline gets triggered. Understood?
Yeah. So it means a pull request has to be raised each at
At
let's say
each
each
stage.
time you want to push to, let's say, the
Yes,
dev on the stage, a pull request has to be raised.
yes, yes.
Okay. All right, sir. Thank you.
And you don't directly push the changes that you did directly to the dev environment or the main dev environment, right?
Yeah.
You have to follow that process from feature branch to dev branch, from dev to stage, then slowly, slowly go to the higher environment,
All right.
right?
Yes. Thank you.
Yes. So This example I gave because when we are working on the project level, okay, in the project level as well, we have a different what do you call? Mm, we have different environments. Like first we'll see the uh, dev account, development. I'll do testing. If it works fine, I'll raise it to the entire project. Okay, entire project I can push it to the dev environment and test it over there. Push it to the stage environment over there. I'll see at every stage how that particular uh, code works or functionality works. If everything looks good, I'll test it on the production. Okay, we'll see when we're working on the project. We'll test a single environment. If I hear you right, Professor, you're saying that nothing is ever pushed to the main until final approval. Yes, perfectly fine. Main is used for final deployment. Correct. A pull request is how the codes get checked at every stage. Exactly. Exactly. So every time, every change that you do, every change, you'll have to raise a pull request and inform manager that you have raised a pull request, or inform any authority who's responsible for merging into that particular branch, and you'll be able to see that authority who's responsible. Okay, suppose if I'm making it from feature to main. Okay, right now there is nothing, we have merged it directly. If we make some changes in this and then we'll raise it, on the right hand side you'll see the person who's responsible for approving it. Okay, that person's name is also visible, who is responsible for approving this code, so that directly you can copy the link, send it to that person and ask him to review it. How can we get all these tools and commands in details? These commands are pretty easy.
I have a question, Pro.
Yes.
I raised my hand.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I was because I after the approval, how do we receive notification that it was approved? Do we have to go back
Yeah.
to that go back to check
No.
all the time, or is there a way that we get notified that this whatever pull request that we sent was
Every
approved?
step that you do, every step, whether you push it to the GitHub, whether you raise a pull request, whether you merge it, every step gets notified on through email. Every step.
Okay, so it is integrated. Okay, I see.
Yes, every step gets notified. If it's approved, you'll see that on the notification bar that yeah, your pull request has been approved. Your pull request is required to make some changes. It cannot be approved directly.
Okay,
It's like that.
thank you.
Yes. I think so. I need some 10 minutes break. Okay, so that we continue next to our next topic. Okay, right? Shall we take break or continue?
Yes, let's take it.
Let's
Yeah,
take a quick.
yeah. I'll stop recording. Pause recording. Resume recording. Yeah. Okay. So when you open the GitHub desktop option, you'll be able to see where do you want to open the code. Okay. This will be the screen. Go to the options. I want it to be opened in Visual Studio Code. Right now, it's not showing Visual Studio Code. I think so. It's deleted from my laptop. So always try to open it into the Visual Studio Code. Okay. We'll see, like when we're working on the projects, I'll open it in the Visual Studio Code. I'll have to install it. Okay. And the next thing what I wanted to explain you is, this is the important thing. File. Okay. Yeah. Git ignore. Okay. This is also important feature which companies usually follow. Okay. This comes handy when you have a Terraform file. Okay. The reason being is, suppose now you must have seen, like when we execute Terraform, there is something terraform.tf file, terraform.tf state file is also created, right? And that file has all the configuration features, okay, of your resources. Whatever you have created, it contains all the data. But we don't want it to be pushed to the GitHub because GitHub is a public repository. This thing is a public repository. If I want to Like if you guys want to see my profile, I'll put it in the chat, okay? And you'll be able to see my GitHub profile, okay? And whatever changes, whatever commit, push, everything what I have done, you'll be able to see it on the profile on my GitHub repository. But I want few files to be hidden from you, okay? Few files, like suppose if you guys enter into this Terraform Git actions, okay? And there are few files which, like this was a Terraform code, okay? This is a Terraform code and it will have like the state file or something. But I don't want you guys to see my state file. So what do I do? How do I keep it getting, how do I like stop it getting pushed to the GitHub? Suppose I create a secret file, okay? That hash means comment. Hash, if you do hash option, even that will go to the changed file. Suppose, yeah, what Teresa said, let me just show you. Even if you comment out something, you can push it. Okay, vi file 1. Okay, so let me just comment out first line. Okay, I'll add this. Okay, what will happen now? This has been commented. Okay, git status. Git status is the command to check which file has been modified. Modified is file 1. So what do I do? Git add dot add all the files in the staging from this current directory. Git commit -m check commented file. Git commit. This commit message can be anything for our betterment, or for anyone who reads this message will understand like exactly what you did. Okay. So git push. I'm working on the feature branch. Okay. So this has been pushed. Go to your branch. Where is it? Training. Okay. So you see this now, main branch. It was committed 37 minutes ago. Okay. Modified from feature. If you go to the feature branch, we just now updated it. Now check commented file. Like even if you comment it, you'll be able to see it. Got it? Now, how do I hide it? Any particular file. Suppose if I create touch file 2, which has some sensitive data. Touch file 3, file 4. Okay, this extra 2 files I have created. Do ls. I'll see file 1, file 2, file 3, file 4. Okay, but if you see, this file 1 has some data. File 2 will have something data, some 3 and 4. But I don't want to push these 3 files. Okay, if you check this git status, what do you see? Untracked files. Okay, file 2, file 3, file 4. But if I make some changes in this file, I don't want these 3 files to be pushed to the GitHub. How do I do that? Okay, there is something called .git ignore. Okay, vi .git ignore. Okay, so in this file, you have to type what you don't want to be pushed. Okay, suppose I don't want file 2 to be pushed. Okay, I'll just keep it as it is. Rest, I'll push it because I see that file 2. Wait, let me just type something in file 2.
Recording in progress.
This file has some sensitive data. Okay, ls git status. It shows git ignore file 2, file 3. Can you see something? I don't, that file is already ignored. File 2. Okay. Now I need to git add dot git commit -m. Stop sending secret files to remote repo. Okay. Git push. This is a feature branch. Okay. If you remember, I created these three files, file 2, file 3, file 4. I added file 2 in this .git ignore. Okay. I don't want file 2 to be pushed to the git ignore, or means to the GitHub. I want only file 3 and file 4. Okay. So what I did, I added in this, then we executed the same commands, git add, git commit, and git push. If you go to the feature branch, okay, just to refresh, what do you see? File 2 is ignored. If you come to the .git ignore, you'll see file 2, but you'll not be able to see the data of it. I wrote something in file 2, right? If you remember, cat file 2. This file has some sensitive data. This was the message that I read. But even that is not visible in this. It just says that this file has been stopped from sending it. Understood? Any doubt you want me to repeat?
Yeah, please, can you just repeat this process for?
Yes. So we have sometimes we work on a particular files which we don't want our data to be exposed to the public repository, such as in Terraform there is something called terraform.tf state file, which contains all the resources information, okay, of our account, AWS account. We don't want that file to be passed to the GitHub account. So how do we stop that file being sent? Because whenever we execute Terraform plan, Terraform apply, all the files will be pushed, whatever you have created. But there is one file that you don't want to push. How do you stop that file getting pushed? You create .git ignore file. You create one file. File name is this .git ignore. Okay, it has to start with .git ignore, and then mention in that .git ignore which file you don't want to push. Understood? Suppose if I'm creating now, I'll create one more file, touch file 5. I have worked on this and I don't want this file to be pushed to the my GitHub account, because I'll have to type something in this. Wait, touch, wait, vi file 5. I'll type something. Is a file ls. Okay. I don't want this file also to be passed to the my GitHub account. I just want this file 1, file 3, and file 4. And this push should ignore these two files. How do I make this happen? I'll go in this vi dot git ignore, okay, and mention it which file I want to skip. I want to skip one more file 5. Okay. Now just you git add dot git commit -m restrict data from sending it to repo. Then what do I do? Git push. If you see, file 1, file 3, file 4, same files will be there. But what did I do? I stopped. I don't want file 5 to be pushed to this git ignore. So even if you see over here, file 2 and file 5, you will not be able to see the content of that. Understood? The content of these two files will not be visible. Means what you're doing exactly is you're you are stopping the sensitive data to be getting from getting published. Okay. So how do we do that? Use .git ignore. Whenever you see any GitHub repository and you come across .git ignore, you should understand at that same moment that this file is for ignoring some of the files that are mentioned in this from getting published on this repo. Okay, this is how this git ignore works. Suppose if you I don't have many repositories where I have added git ignore, but let me just show you.
I have a question.
Yes.
So when you do the git ignore, and this is not allowing people to, like, for the file to be public, does this means that the internal people in the company can see the file,
Yes.
or does it
Yes,
apply to them too?
they can see it in this format. The person who has worked on it can give that person through private repository, but not through public.
Oh, okay. So you can share, share the
Yes.
private thing.
Yes, you can share it privately to him because
And the
these
next,
repositories are public. Any person. That's why
okay.
I shared my repository. You guys can see my profile, everything. Okay, in this training. But there are some files which I don't want you guys to see.
So you make it private. Okay.
Yes, I make it private. So
Okay, I see.
which are those two files? These are two files. Okay. So whenever you are working with Terraform, this usually comes handy.
Okay. And is there a way to reverse it? Like if you want to later on change your
Yes.
mind and you make it public? Okay.
Just remove it from there. Suppose, what do I do now? Let me just remove it from there. Vi dot. Okay, I'll remove both these files. Okay. And then git add dot git commit -m send all files. Git push. What will happen now? I removed those two files from .git ignore.
Yeah, so that means it's gonna push all the files, and the 2 and 5 will not be visible.
Now it will be visible. All the content of the data of this files will be visible. See this. Can you see this? File 1, file 2, file 3, file 4. If you open this file 2, you'll see what was written in this. This file has some sensitive data. And even this file. This file is sample file. Just a second, I'm getting call. Just a second.
Okay, thank you, Prof.
Sorry guys, like today I'm getting so many calls because there is some my relatives death in the in the hospital. That person has expired, so people are calling me to visit. That's why I'll have to leave in next 30 minutes. Okay, that's why I'm getting so many calls. Okay, so yes, do you understand the concept of this .git ignore, what it does exactly? Everyone understood? Yes. How do you reverse git ignore? How do you share private repo with teammate? See, what happens is whenever you are creating the repository, okay, these are all public repositories. Suppose you want to create a private repository. Okay, there is an option here, private, public. Okay, if this private repository is there, you will require password of it. Okay, the other person should know the password to see the files of it. Any person will not be able to see. You choose who can see and commit to this repository. Understood? So here, while creating the repository, companies follow this process. They make every repository private, but our GitHub account is like free tier. We can only make one repository private. We cannot create n number of repositories private. If we want all the repositories that we are working on to be private, subscribe it to GitHub Enterprises, which is paid version of GitHub. Okay, but as we are testing, we are learning, and what do you call learning projects. Most of the repositories are public. It will allow you only one private repository, nothing else, because this is a free tier. Okay, and if you want all the repositories to be private, take the GitHub subscribe. Uh, uh, it's okay. So next thing is .git ignore. You guys understood? Okay, and suppose, okay, I have so like how I can ask, I would say training part. Yeah, suppose now you guys can see this repository and make some changes in this repository. Okay, I have this code, even you have this code. Okay, you will go and add some extra file to this. Suppose you create file 6 and you push it to the GitHub account. Okay, I have file still file 5 only, right? And the repository says it has file 6 as well. How do I get it in my repository? Only file 6, not all. Are you getting what I'm saying? Suppose I'm working on this repository, okay, and we are working as a team, okay, and suppose Constance will work on this repository. She will create few files, okay. Suppose she creates one more file called file 6, and she will push it to the same repository and ask me, Professor, can you just go and check the repository? I have added file 6, but I see in my local, okay, I see the file in the GitHub account file 6, okay, but in my local I see only file 5. I want file 6 as well, just only one file. I don't want all the files to be. What do I do? If I clone it, entire repository will be cloned. I want to match all these files to my local repository. There is one command called git pull. Okay, git clone function is different, git pull function is different. Okay, in git clone, it will clone the entire repository. Okay, what do we do in git clone? You give this URL and you clone the entire repository. But in git pull, okay, in git pull, it will check whether how many files you have and which file is missing in your case. Understood? Because we all work in a team. Okay, as I said over here, what users do is they will there are 3 different users: user 1, user 2, user 3. He works on file 1, he works on file 2, and he works on file 3. Okay, so they all push it to the repository, GitHub repository. This is a single repository. But this person has file 1, this person has file 2, this person has file 3. Okay, and this repository will have file 1, file 2, file 3. User 1 decides, in my laptop, I should see all the 3 files: file 1, file 2, file 3. Okay, what he will do? He will not clone the repository. He will directly execute git pull. Just execute this command. Okay, what does this say? Counting objects, 100% 1:1, done. Total delta 0, reuse 0. There is no file, is 0. Okay, already up to date. Understood? What does it say? If I execute this git pull, suppose, means are you getting what I'm trying to say? If you want to test it, we can test it. Someone clone the repository, create file to like file 6, file 7, whatever, and then just push it. Okay, then I'll use only git pull. That file will come into my local repository in my local laptop. If I just execute this single command git pull, automatically, once you push it to the GitHub account, what this command will do is it will try to match how many files are there in my local and how many files are there on the GitHub account. It will try to balance. It will try to equalize. There should be same number of files that are present in the GitHub to my local. Okay.
Prof, I have a question.
Yes.
So you mean by running the command git pull, you're actually git fetching that command and git merging it, right?
Yes, exactly. Git
Okay.
fetch, if you do git fetch, what will happen is it will ask you, like it will show you on screen, like this is the difference, whether you want to merge it with your branch. But git pull will do both the functions,
Okay,
fetch
yeah.
as well as merge.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah, git pull will do both the function. But if you want to see what changes has been done, just use git fetch. It will show you, but it will not get that file in your local.
Yeah.
Understood? But if you want to merge it, you can select it like merge. Then it's same as git pull command.
The same as git pull.
Yes.
You're pulling from the origin.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Understood? Any doubt till now here? If anybody wants, yeah, Noni, yes.
Yeah, but I know that git pull is to pull the code from the remote repository to your local. So are you saying that if you already have some of these codes in your local and you are pulling it, when you run the command git pull, it won't duplicate the file that is already in your local?
No, it will not, because see, what does it say? Already up to date. It will not duplicate.
Okay, so it will just check and balance.
Yes.
Okay.
It will do that. This comes handy when, whenever, suppose you have cloned this repository, this project is going really long, suppose a month. Today, I have worked on this repository and there has been other developers as well working on it. And after 15, 20 days, I realize like, yeah, these people have made a lot of changes. Let me just go and check. That time I will not clone the repository. Cloning is totally a different thing. What I will do, I'll just use git pull. Whatever new changes, new files they have added, they will automatically get reflected in my local. Okay.
Yeah, understood.
If they did not add, if they did not work anything in these 15, 20 days, I'll get the same message. Already you are up to date. There is nothing new file available over there.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it. Thank you.
Yes. I hope you guys are practicing side by side. This was very easy class. So even if you don't practice, or maybe you can practice after the class while watching the recordings. Okay, that's also fine. But I would expect you to do it side by side when we are doing on the project wise. Okay, because after this, I'm going to take CI/CD tool, and that's most probably gonna be GitHub Actions. The reason being is why I want to take GitHub Action is because we have pushed the code to the GitHub account and as soon as we push something to the GitHub, how does the actions come into picture? Okay. How does the actions come into picture? Because this is a CI/CD tool. CI/CD tool is nothing but a continuous process. A single change in your code will what you call make changes in your workflow, and then the final product will also change. Okay. So this actions part I'm going to explain tomorrow evening. Okay. So I hope like tomorrow when you will be back, you will do everything side by side to me what I'm doing. Okay. Then what else is left in this gate? Yeah, because when we are learning GitHub Actions, it's very much important to do hands-on. That will help us while working on project. Yes, I'll send a recording as well. But do practice whatever new things you have learned. Some things you might have learned new, something you must have been once again through this. I know you guys have worked on this before. Okay. Yeah, Sly.
Question, Prof.
Yes.
Is it common that when you do a pull request,
Mm-hmm.
Since the pull request updates your feature branch to what the current what's current in the what is it called, GitHub, do you like get conflicts? Do you run into conflict? Is it common to get conflict with other feature branches?
No, it does not, because every branch name will differ. If suppose Git branch, if I do, you can create multiple feature branch, not only one, multiple feature branch. Okay. So if you cannot give the second branch name the same branch, same name, it will create conflict. Okay, the name has to be different. Okay. And anytime anything you push, suppose you have already raised a pull request. Okay. And let's do that exercise, this as well. Okay.
Well, the reason why I'm asking, what was the purpose of doing a pull request? I
Yeah.
thought reason is to avoid conflicts with other
No, the
teammates.
reason being is you have worked on a feature branch, okay, which does not serve much purpose in deploying. You don't deploy in CI/CD tool through feature branch. You always deploy with the dev branch or stage branch or the production branch. Okay, but whether you have worked correctly, everything looks perfectly fine, and then you want to merge whatever you have worked with the main branch. Okay, then you raise a pull request. What will happen is whatever changes you have done in the main feature branch will get automatically reflected in the main branch if the pull request is merged. Okay. And suppose if the pull request is pending, you have created a pull request and then you make one more change and again you push it. Okay. Then what happens? The latest change will be updated. Means suppose
Prof, just 1 second. I think Sly needs to clarify what he means. Are you talking about the Git pull concept or the pull request? Which is your question based on?
Pull, not pull request, the pull.
So you use them interchangeably. So if you're asking for Git pull, then Prof, you have to move away from pull request explanation.
Okay. I thought like it was pull request. Okay. Git pull is a command. Git pull is a command, and git pull request is an action on the console. Git pull command, what it does is it balances the your files in your local repo to the GitHub repository. Okay, git pull is a command. Remember, git pull request is not a command. Git pull request is an action. Okay, action means it is what you call, it is a step where you want to make a merge with the main branch from your feature branch. So what do? You raise a pull request. That pull request and this git pull are totally different. Okay. Git pull, what it will do, whatever repository is already updated on the GitHub account. Okay. It will, and the local repository, local means in your laptop. If you, in your laptop, if you have 5 files and in the GitHub account has 7 files, if you do git pull, all those extra 2 files, whatever were created, will get copied in your local, but to the same branch. Okay. Whether they are added to the feature branch or whether they are added to the dev branch, whichever branch you're working on in your laptop, those 2 files will get added. Okay. And you make changes, push it to the GitHub account, but you have worked on the feature branch. Okay. You pulled the files, you worked on it, and then you again pushed it. Now you want to raise a pull request. Pull request has totally a different function. Okay. Pull request, it's trying to request the manager that I have made changes in my feature branch. Please merge it with the main branch. Okay. This is an action. And git pull is nothing but it is a command to fetch untracked files from the GitHub to your local. This is a different. Git pull is a command, git pull request is an action. Okay. Any further clarification you want, you can ask again. Okay.
Prof, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
I think that pertaining to the question that Sylvester asked,
Mm-hmm.
if you try to make a pull request without Git pulling the changes that are in the remote, that's when you get a conflict. Is that right?
If you try to,
if you try to make a pull request
mm-hmm,
without getting the changes, that's without already pulling
I get it. I
Git
get it.
pulling the changes that were in the remote.
It will not create conflict. It will not create conflict.
Okay.
What will happen is all those files from the feature branch, if the pull request is approved, all those files will get merged with the main branch. Let's see the example. Let's see the example. We have the perfect example over here for this. If you see on the main branch, we have only one, but on the feature branch, how many files do we have? These many files, total 6 files.
5.
So if I raise a pull request, will it create a conflict? If I raise a pull request, will it create a conflict? Or even if I do git pull, it will not create a conflict. Git pull, I'll have to execute this command in the git bash. Okay. And that too on a feature branch. Okay. But my feature branch has same number of files. If you see ls, file 1, file 2, file 3, file 4, and git ignore that's hidden. Okay. This.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it will not create a conflict because you have already all the
Yes.
files that are in the remote and your
Yes.
local.
Yes.
Yeah,
When
but
will I
if
use git pull?
Mhm.
When will I use git pull?
if there's a seed file
Mhm.
in the remote and you don't have that seed file in your local,
Mhm.
you have to git pull.
Yes. And if I want to make some changes to that file, if not, you can directly raise a pull request. If I want to make changes, then I'll use git pull. Okay. If I
Okay.
don't, even if I don't have in my local, I'm least bothered. Okay. What should happen is request should be raised. But if I see I need to make some changes in this file, first thing first, what I'll do is I'll do git pull. Then I'll, so that all the files that are on the remote GitHub account and on my local are matched so that I work. Conflict will arise when? Let me tell you this. This conflict, what Sylvester asked was, question was, suppose now files are 7 on the GitHub and you have 5 files. Okay. And you work something and you try to push it to the GitHub. What will happen? You have 5 files in your local repo, in your local laptop, and there are 7 files. You have not executed git pull, but you're directly trying to push one more file to the GitHub. what will happen?
Conflict.
Exactly, conflict will happen. What error you'll get is there are untracked files on the remote. Please use git pull. First, try to use git pull means try to balance all those files between your local and the repository, and then make changes and then push. Understood?
Yeah, I think the easiest way, this is how I understood, because I used to struggle with pull request versus git pull. It's a pretty simple concept. The
Yes.
easiest way to remember it, guys, is request. Request became my keyword. Every time they ask me that question about in an interview, I'll say a request pretty much the goal of the request, pull request, is to check your code. That's pretty much
Yes.
the only thing it does. Your manager will check that whatever you were working with or on is up to date, or whatever the code is what it's supposed to be. There is no error, there's no bug, it's ready. It's just checking. We're just making we need a second set of eye to make sure that we won't have a bug once the
Exactly.
code is released to our production environment. That's the only, don't even overcomplicate yourself. Pull request, that's the only purpose of a pull request, to check your code as a
Yes.
final before it's completely released. Git
Ex
pull is like Prof just said, right? You worked on the code, it was a pull request was done, it was approved. Then a change needed to be made. Because the change was made in your local, it's not gonna show on the other on your remote. So what the Git pull does is, okay, something was done that before after we push, let me go get it and merge everything. So I'm bringing everything together. Then it can be shown on our repo, on our remote repo. So those are the difference. Git pull is just I'm pulling everything that is out there that we may have missed or we worked on after the request was approved. Let me bring it back because my manager is not seeing it. So I'm bringing everything together. Pull request is, hey manager, I worked on this code, please check it out. That's the main difference. One is to check the code, one is to I think Mirabel was the one that even used the term, I'm gonna fetch everything missing and then I'm gonna merge everything, and then that way everything balances.
exactly. Exactly.
Oh, actually, my question was, it was
Mm-hmm.
simple. I just want to like quick, yes or no.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it was about the pull, not necessarily pull requests.
Mm-hmm.
What purpose does it serve?
Yeah.
Is it an action that must be taken before
Okay.
you commit your
Okay.
your
Let's
own
take one
file?
example. Yes, I understood. Understood your query. So you and I are working on this repository. We have 5 files. Okay, file 1, file 2, file 3, file 5. And I have 5 files, same. Okay. What do? You create file 6 and push it to the GitHub repository. Okay. You will be able to see on your GitHub account file 6, all this file 6, but in my local. Okay, in your local as well, you have file 6. On the GitHub repository, there are file 6. But in my local, I have only 5 files. How do I balance it? I'll just do git pull. What will happen? The extra file that you worked on and you pushed on the GitHub will automatically get pulled in my local, and I will be able to see file 6 in my local after I execute that git pull. Understood? Only purpose of git pull is to balance the number of files and code in your local to the GitHub account, GitHub account repository. Because you are not the only one in the team working on that GitHub repository. You are working as a team. Okay. So you are team member 1. The other team member 2 is also working on that repository. So if you want his changes also to be in your local, in your laptop, okay, So let him push the code to the repository. And how do you get in your local what changes he made? How do you get it? Just execute git pull. You'll be able to see whatever changes he made in your local. Understood?
I mean, is understood, Prof.
Yeah.
Right? Do you, is it true? So I want to commit changes, right? What happens if that is done without doing
Git
the
pull.
git pull?
It will be
Would there be a
conflict.
conflict?
Of course.
Okay, that was my
It
question.
it will show you that there is one extra untracked file or whatever extra files are there. So there it will show you error. There are some extra untracked files on the origin, on the remote, which don't match with your local. So execute git pull. It will tell you the command as well. So when there is conflict, execute that command git pull. You'll be able to see extra two files in your local as well, in your local then. Okay. So now, as I was mentioning, on the main branch, we have only one file. On the feature branch, we have these many files. Raise and pull request, compare and pull request. Create pull request. First thing first, you need to check from which branch to which branch it's merging, from feature branch to main branch. Okay, create pull request. Yes, perfect. And if you want to see what changes you have done, just go to this files changed. What you have done, you have added this plus sign that you see, right? File 1 was already present. File 2, file 3, file 4, file 5, and .git ignore has been added. Okay. So just go to the pull request, merge pull request, confirm merge. Yes, it has been merged. And usually in the companies, after merging your feature branch to the main branch or the dev branch, you delete the feature branch. Delete feature branch. Okay, so that the cleaning work is done. When you come to the code, this is the main branch. You'll be able to see all the files, file 1, file 2, file 3, file 5, just because just now we raised a pull request and we merged the pull request. And what happened to the feature branch? I deleted it, right? Over there. You won't be able to see it now. Right? After everything is done, after you put something on everything on the production, companies usually delete the feature branches, okay? Yes, Nani.
Yeah, so Prof, to make this thing, I think is it better for us to understand this that pull request for us to do a pull request, we have to first do a pull and just to make sure that both our local and our GitHub repository are in sync all the
Yes.
time before we do the pull request, right?
If you want to make some changes, okay,
But if you don't have any changes to make, there's no need doing any pull.
Then no need to do git pull. Why would you want if you don't want to make changes, then you don't need that code extra changed or whatever in your local. You don't need to execute the git pull. Directly you can raise a pull request.
Yes. So for you to do a pull request, you have to always make sure that both your local and your remote are in sync.
Usually it should happen. Yes.
Okay.
Because if you are raising a pull request, files in your local and the GitHub should be in sync if you're raising a pull request.
Okay. Well understood. Thank you.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, Prof, right? The beginning of our question was if you don't have to make a change, right? You don't have to do a pull.
Yeah, exactly.
A git pull.
Yes.
Okay, but in order to make a pull request, right? Your file needs to be in sync with the.
Need not be.
It need not be.
No, it need not be. If you are not, if you don't, if you, whether you have deleted in your local as well, no problem, because you have already pushed the in your feature branch. Okay, all the files are in your feature branch. Even if 2, 3 files are being missed in your local, but you have pushed everything on the feature branch. Okay, you raise a pull request. Whether few files are missing in your local or no, that's not none of the concern. What is on the feature branch on the GitHub repository? Okay, I'm talking about terms of GitHub repository that will get merged with the main branch. For that purpose, you'll have to raise a pull request. It's very easy, nothing to complicate. Use Git pull when you are
Where
working
would
as
there
a
be
team.
conflict?
When you will get conflict, suppose Noni, me, and Sylvester are 3 members working on the same repository. Okay, Noni creates file 1 and file 2. I create file 3 and file 4. Sylvester creates file 5 and file 6. First thing, Noni will push file 1 and file 2. Okay, I will. I don't have any file in my local. Okay, I'll just create file 3 and file 4 in my local and I'll keep it myself. Sylvester will work on file 5 and file 6. He will keep it on himself. Okay. But Noni has pushed 2 files already to the GitHub account. Okay. Can I push file 3 and file 4 directly to the GitHub account?
No.
What should I have to do first?
You have to make sure that Noni's file are in your
Exactly. And how will that happen?
Git pull.
Exactly. That's when the Git pull will come into existence. Exactly. Understood? Others team members, whatever changes they have made, if I want them to be in my local as well, okay, then I'll have to use git pull. But if my files are irrelevant, if Sylvester files what work he has done is irrelevant, Noni can herself go and raise a pull request and just her pull request will be only for 2 files, file 1 and file 2, what she has worked for. Understood? But if I want to raise a pull request, I have to push the files to the GitHub account first. But my local does not match with the GitHub account, GitHub repository, right? Because I'm working on file 3 and file 4. GitHub repository says file 1 and file 2 are already present. What do I have to do? Because GitHub account will have 4 files. My local has only 2 files, file 3 and file 4. I'll have to balance it out, right? How do I balance it? I'll use git pull. So that whatever Noni worked on, file 1 and file 2, they will get synced with my local. I'll be able to see as soon as I execute git pull, those 2 files which Noni worked on will get automatically added in my local. I'll be able to see 4 files, file 1 and file 2 which Noni worked on, and my own work, file 3 and file 4. Now similarly, I'll I push my file 3 and file 4 after git pull and everything. Sylvester he worked on file 5 and file 6. Okay, but he has only 2 files in his local. And GitHub repository has 4 files. Can he push his 2 files directly to the GitHub account? He cannot. Why? Because his local is not synced with the GitHub repository. What he has to do first and foremost is he'll have to use git pull. What will happen when Sylvester uses git pull? All those 4 files which Noni worked on two, I worked on two are on the GitHub. All those 4 files will be automatically copied in his local. He'll be able to see 6 files. File 1, file 2 which Noni worked on, file 3, file 4 which I worked on, and file 5 and file 6 which he worked on. And he will push it to the GitHub repository. On GitHub, there are 6 files. Now Noni has only 2. I have 2. I have 4. But Sylvester has 6. The final commit was made by Sylvester. And now he raises a pull request. What will happen? All those 6 files will be getting merged with the main branch. Understood? Yes, this is how the teamwork happens. Understood? A very simple example I gave.
Yeah, it's simple, Prof.
Yes.
It can also be.
And it will be more, you'll getting more clarity when we actually work on the project. We will, work in such a way that I'll divide some work, like to work on dev for someone, for the stage for someone, for 2-3 people, and then an exact concept of conflict as well as git pull and all the commands, what we have learned, that will be more clear when we are working on projects. Okay, guys?
Thank you, Prof.
Yes.
Thank you, Prof.
Yes. So I'll stop recording now. Okay.